First take, the Cowboys have now requested permission to interview Eagles offensive coordinator Kellen Moore for the head coaching job. And now Dan, Stephen A. Of course, Kellen Moore was a player for the Dallas Cowboys. He was a quarterbacks coach, and he was an offensive coordinator at one point. Dan, do you like this, the thought of Kellen Moore leaving Philly as the OC to be the head coach of Dallas?
I love the fact of Kellen getting an opportunity to be a head coach. I think he's brilliant. I played with Kellen. He's unbelievably smart with how he sees football and communicates football and has the vision for football. I think Philly's a great opportunity for him to continue to grow, but at some point you take advantage of the opportunity to go become a head coach for the first time. It feels a little bit like what they did with Jason Garrett many years ago, where Jason Garrett was a backup quarterback for them and eventually became the head coach of the football team. But I think Kellen Moore is a very, very smart offensive mind.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, Dan, because you're the great football mind. He's been enamored, Jerry, with Kellen for a long time. Wasn't his name coming up when they let Jason Garrett go before they brought Mike McCarthy in? But then there was all these claims of, well, you can't. It's the Cowboys. Bring in a first-time head coach. No, he was just playing. This is too early.
Yeah, Jerry Jones has loved Kellen Moore for a long time. I'd also say this. I think a lot of people in the NFL have been enamored with Kellen Moore for 6, 7, 8 years. Rightfully so.
Stephen A.?
I don't mind it. Not one bit. But for reasons you might not have thought about when you brought up this subject, Molly Wood.
Tell me.
You see, when you look at Kellen Moore, right? Isn't that the guy that was the offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys when they were the second-ranked offense in the National Football League?
Yes, sir.
Isn't that the guy that had a high-powered offense and was still pushed out the door because Mike McCarthy convinced Jerry Jones that, you know what, we were throwing the football entirely too much and not really protecting Dak Prescott, and I would change things and things would be a bit different under me, and he gave Mike McCarthy that power and was willing to shove Kellen Moore aside? Well, that Kellen Moore willing to come back to Dallas, all the complaints that everybody has about Jerry Jones, how would it be any different with Kellen Moore? See, when I talked about Deion Sanders, when I talked about Bill Belichick, that's the difference. You understand? You're not going to push around Bill Belichick. You're not going to just summarily dismiss primetime Deion Sanders. Okay? But with Kellen Moore, that's more the same. I'm talking about with Dallas. I'm not casting any aspersions on him. I'm talking about him in Dallas. Anywhere else, Kellen Moore's a big-time candidate, not Dallas.
Just to clarify with what you're saying, so essentially you're saying because the major issue in Dallas is the lack of culture, right, and the lack of leadership, and you feel like with Deion, that could be instituted, and with Kellen Moore, he would still be run by Jerry Jones.
You got to deal with and know how to offset the impact of Jerry Jones. He ain't the dude for that job. That's not him. He's already proven it.
You say what?
Well, in regards to Kellen Moore not being the guy for the job, I think
because of the culture, needing someone to really set a culture there and be the real leader and set precedent.
Yeah, I would say this. You don't know what type of culture builder first-time coaches are going to be until they become a culture builder. Yeah,
Dan Campbell did it.
But you don't know that, though. You just don't know. Now, Kellen Moore's been around Mike McCarthy. He was around Brandon Staley. He was obviously around Nick Sirianni, and by a lot of what we've witnessed this year, it seems like the culture in Philly is pretty good when it comes to dealing with the adversity of the team. I do want to mention something, Stephen A., in regards to the Deion stuff, because I was under the assumption that, in Deion's words, he was only going to go coach in the NFL if he could coach both of his sons, Shador and Shiloh.
He said that. I don't believe him.
Correct. Shefty said he thinks that would not be the case if it was Philly or Detroit. Excuse me, Dallas. He thinks for Jerry Jones, if it did happen, it doesn't mean that Shador would be going with Deion. He thinks he would make the exception for that.
I believe that because I believe, Stephen A., and correct me if I'm wrong, I think that would be the only outlier team, the Dallas Cowboys, right? Because of who they are, America's team, #1 headline, and obviously he was a Cowboys legend, right?
Listen, I've known Deion for decades, and all I would tell you is this. He's sincere when he talks about wanting to coach these kids, wanting to raise boys into men. He's not lying. He's very sincere. He's always been about that. I think the Dallas Cowboys, for him, would be the exception. I find it very difficult to believe that if Jerry Jones made him a viable offer to be the head coach for the Dallas Cowboys, that primetime Deion Sanders would turn that down. I just find that very difficult to believe. I don't believe it. And by the way, I've told him so.
Yeah. I
Agree.
feel like
Agree.
this needs to happen. So
If they hire Dion, it would
Do it.
signal to me that they actually want to win. I think there's a lot of
And
other
by the
they
teams-
want
way,
to make a splash. Yeah.
No,
And by
yeah,
the way,
they wanna
Molly,
win.
people have
Tell me.
people have crucified Jerry Jones, saying that headlines, are his versions of championships that he wants to win. Well, who the hell's gonna win more headlines than primetime in Dallas? Who?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look what we're talking about.
Yeah,
Makes
but
no
maybe
sense.
rest them away from Jerry.
Yeah.
Not sure he wants that
Maybe.
either.
But honestly, think about it right
Even
now.
good.
You know, divisional weekend coming up, and what are we talking about?
Cowboys.
Going to land head coaching jobs in this cycle. There's the very real possibility that this will be the final run with these two coordinators in Detroit, making it that much more significant what Detroit's doing, trying to win with these two coordinators spending their final weeks or days with the Detroit Lions. As for the Chicago Bears, the former Dallas Cowboys and Green Bay Packers head coach Mike McCarthy was in Hallis Hall yesterday. I wonder if he's ever stepped foot in Hallis Hall up until yesterday, but he spent the day interviewing with Bears officials in person for the Chicago head coaching job. Clearly, Mike McCarthy could have a dramatic impact on the future of Bears quarterback Caleb Williams if that's the direction that Chicago decides to go. They've interviewed an awful lot of head coaching candidates. Meanwhile, the Dallas Cowboys continued their search for a new head coach. All eyes are on Deion Sanders, as is usually the case. Him and Jerry Jones have spoken this week, but this weekend, Deion Sanders is going snowmobiling in the mountains in Colorado. He's not going to be interviewing. There's no setup just yet, but he did say that he is intrigued. Leslie Frazier, and we'll see ultimately where Dallas decides to go, but clearly Deion Sanders is going to be an option.
I want to cut right to the chase. I'm not going to get to the soundbite here. We played it earlier. There are people who are saying Deion just wants this out there because he wants to drive up his salary and all that kind of stuff at Colorado. What can you tell us?
Well, that came up. We were talking, and he said
You
to
and
me,
you and Deion, to be clear.
me and Deion, and he said, it ain't that. And I don't need a negotiating ploy. I'm me. And he is. There's nobody like Deion. He doesn't need any negotiating ploy. He doesn't need added leverage. If Colorado wants to give him a new deal for helping to transform that program and make it as relevant as it's been since Bill McCartney coached there, then they'll give him a new deal. But if they don't, then maybe Dallas will give him. He's Deion Sanders. He's an icon. Icons, as a general rule, don't need added leverage.
Can you read the message one more time for me?
It ain't that.
Can you read it one more time, please?
I said to him, I go, hey, there are people saying this is a leverage ploy. He said, it ain't that, and I don't need a negotiating ploy. I'm me. LOL.
Me, baby.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
And I hate to put you on the spot type stuff, but okay, if it doesn't happen, is it more from Dallas not wanting it or Deion not wanting it?
I really believe that he feels a certain attachment to the people that he's committed to at Colorado, the young men that he's shaping. I believe he loves his staff, his players, the community. He made that very clear. So my guess is if Jerry Jones decides, I want Deion Sanders as my coach, and he comes at him sincerely and genuinely, and he said, this is what I believe is best, and I want you to be a part of this with me. I don't know that Deion would have the strength to turn down somebody that he cares, respects, and loves as much as he does Jerry Jones. But I don't know if the Cowboys are there just yet. They're going through their process. Jerry Jones has to have an idea in his mind. But again, I said this in the first, I'll say it to you now. I had an NFL general manager call me up in October of 2023. And he said, I want you to write this down. Deion Sanders is going to be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. This was 16 months ago, roughly. I wrote it down. I took some pictures of them. I saved them in my phone. And lo and behold, the possibility of that happening is now out there.
J-Mac, your thoughts?
The more you think about it, I can't come up with a reason why this doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Deion Sanders, everything, you think about his coaching journey to Jackson State to Colorado, he has transformed the program. So now you get into the NFL. Why would we believe that he can't go and transform the Dallas Cowboys and get them over the hump, get them in the playoffs, and find a way to win ball games? Talk about, you said it, as a head coach, you get there, you need a quarterback. They have Dak Prescott there. It makes so much sense on every level.
So Deion is a huge man of faith. And I know he's going to pray about it the whole nine. Me personally, I feel like he belongs at the college level right now. Because we all have young kids, right?
Yep.
And we see how things are going right now in this young generation. A person like Deion and his leadership is needed. That's why I feel like he's.
While I agree with that, I don't know Dion, but he comes across as a person who craves challenge, who craves like the next thing. I can go accomplish the next thing. He's done it. He's gone for the player, and then he was Jackson State, and then he goes to Colorado. What's the next thing after Colorado? What's the next thing?
But there's still a challenge at Colorado right now. Because you don't have your son, Shedeur Sanders, as the quarterback. You're not going to be coaching your son.
Yeah, but there's only
shallow,
so
right?
many opportunities that get presented to you that you can pass up and say, well, the next one will come. I agree that the whole, like he's got to have it right in his soul to go do it type of thing, in his spirit. But there's only so many opportunities that get presented to you where you go,
Good point.
how often can you turn them down?
But he
Damn, I have to dust you off. You too. Oh, he got me. Yeah, they're doing me bad right now. Oh, how the fuck? How the fuck? Ah, hit markers like motherfucker.
This ain't over yet. They're making us fight for it. Keep at 'em.
Oh. Oh.
Keep fighting. We got this. We're almost done. One more to go. Now that was a fight. Solid work.
Bro, I can't believe I went 13 and
Yeah,
1.
Jonah guys in this game again, bro. He was doing pretty good.
Nuh-uh, for real? For real?
Yeah,
Yo,
he's
that's
he's in
fire,
the boat.
bro. That's fire.
But I'm hungry.
.316 no scope, sir.
Okay. Get kills with this weapon, win.
Damn, crip off. Talking and shit.
Damn.
Fuck. That Jonah dude killed the fuck out of me.
This nigga done motored my ass, boy.
Who?
Some dude. I don't know who the fuck it was. I was already in the shotgun.
You almost had me, sir.
King Aries right there. Fuck him up. Fuck him up. Alright, he got you. Get him, Tristan. Fuck him up. Tell him to fuck him up.
10 seconds.
Gonna be a hit marker. It's silenced. Let's go.
What are you doing?
Nice work.
What are you doing?
He could have had that. He could have had that. He literally sat there.
Oh yeah, dude. I don't know why.
He could have killed you so easy. He made that easy for us.
Trash cans, dude.
That was probably the 1 and 8 dude.
Probably was.
Hey, do you think it's a good thing Madeline and I broke up?
Yeah. 100%.
For some reason I can't stop like thinking about it. Like she was like a good person, but like I don't think us as a relationship was good.
She cheated on you, dude.
I know. But I mean like I kind of see like why, cuz like I was kind of shitty to her in like the aspect where I was like she was trying to have sex and I was kind of like just like you can. Yeah, she cheated on me twice. She cheated on me twice. How can I say that?
Or you like unless you're like beating her? No, there's no like no
Yeah,
valid
like
excuse.
I was a good person. I mean, just because we didn't have sex, we